Welcome to No Hidden Agenda TV, sponsored by Caesars Entertainment. I'm Sarah Soliman. PCMA Convening Leaders is quickly approaching, and this event is set to be spectacular thanks to not one, but two keynote speakers set to take the stage. Joining us now is Sherrif Karamat, CEO of PCMA. Sherrif, Convening Leaders is always a strong way to kick off the year for event professionals. So what can we expect this year in San Diego?
Thank you, Sarah, for having me in first. Convening Leaders does kick the year off. I hope it sets the tone for the year and tackles some of the issues that we're dealing with as an industry, as organizations, both on the supply and demand side, and really highlight some of the areas that I think event organizers of PCMA thinks that event organizers should be focusing on. Certainly this year, quite a few things that are environmentally related versus the profession. So sustainability will be a big part of what we talk about and teach, but also what we live. So that's one thing that's in the background. I do think this is something that's a major disruptor and can impact all of the business event space. And so we've got to step in front of it. Secondly, when it comes to technology, you couldn't have been living in the world and not hear of AI over the past year. ChatGPT certainly have popularized AI technology, but AI has been with us for a long time. But AI truly has this ability to transform, disrupt in a profound way our industry. And that could happen for the positive and the negative. As we say, AI will not take your job away, but people using AI will. And I believe strongly that event organizers and the supply side of the business must get their arms around AI, understand how it's going to impact them, and them understanding how they can capitalize it for the benefit of themselves and their organizations. And you will hear a lot more of AI coming in to Convening Leaders. Brand experiences, how brands rise to the top post-COVID. Well, that will be something that we will talk about a lot at Convening Leaders. Associations and corporations think of themselves as brands. Associations less so. And associations need to think in that way, that they are brands and what their brands represent and the communities that they serve. We will talk about that and many other areas, but certainly want to talk about how do you engage and continue to engage and be relevant in a hyper-competitive and digitized world. Those are some of the topics that we'll be talking about. And lots more, of course. Being in San Diego, the city is well prepared for us. The overall experience of Convening Leaders will really just add to having a wonderful time in San Diego. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone there.
Now, I would be remiss not to ask about, we're not just going to see one, but two Clintons speaking at Convening Leaders. So what will they be discussing?
This is going to be an hour-long session with a lot of Q&A, but it is going to be a moderated session between the two of them because these are two incredibly talented individuals in their own right. Of course, the president used to be the former governor of Arkansas. Hillary Clinton, the 67th Secretary of State. She was a senator, former First Lady of the country and of Arkansas. Obviously, both incredibly educated and talented. The idea is to speak to environmental issues, but this will be a moderated discussion between the two of them that will ask many of the questions that we're thinking and talking about around the world today, and as well allow for them to see their personal side, what they've been up to, what they think of current geopolitics, and the impact that it might have on the business event space. So I think that's going to be highly charged, highly entertaining. And the former president, of course, is never shy in front of a microphone. and certainly is very endearing to answer questions and very open. I don't know if you saw the interview that Hillary Clinton did with Howard Stern. It really demonstrated her personality in a more casual manner, and I'm hoping that some of that will also come true in the session that we do with her at Convening Leaders.
We are certainly looking forward to it. As we look to 2024, how will PCMA continue on its growth trajectory?
PCMA, as you know, has really globalized itself and has been growing tremendously. Sarah, PCMA continues to look to grow further. In 2024, Project Spark and Spark is something that PCMA and GetMe will really get behind because of the incredible powers that AI has to transform our industry. Our partnership with AGU and sustainability and the climate crisis that we have in front of us will take center stage. We cannot ignore that. It's too valuable for our future. And our focus on CEMA, the Corporate Event Marketers Association, and really building that community. CEMA Summit will be in Seattle, and we're expecting CEMA to continue to evolve and grow and ensure that corporate event marketers are getting the best knowledge and education. A few other things that PCMA will be doing, of course, in the face-to-face environment. We've partnered with Destination International and Business Events Week that will be happening the first week of April in Washington, D.C. And we have collaborators like the Global Diversity Alliance with IAEE and LGBTQ MPA and others, including EIC, ASAE, will all collaborate that week to make that week truly an industry week. And we are hoping that U.S. Travel and others will also be involved with the week coming up in Washington, D.C., which is really important for not just us coming together and collaborating, but also for advocacy on the Hill. In addition, PCMA and its global activities, in April, we will also have convening APAC in Singapore. And then in the fall, we will have convening EMEA in Barcelona. And last but not least, and we cannot forget, EduCon will be in Detroit this coming June. So we've got a full lineup of face-to-face events as well as digital offerings. And certainly, we're going to be introducing quite a few other products, including, Sarah, I'm going to tease this a little bit, but a few additional acquisitions that PCMA will be making.
Wow, well, that's quite the cliffhanger. So can you tell us when in the year we can expect to hear of these acquisitions?
I think you will hear a lot within the first 4 months of 2023. Certainly, we will talk about some of the products we're launching at Convening Leaders, but with respect to the acquisitions that we are pursuing, you will start hearing of them by the first third of the year, if not sooner. PCMA's growth certainly is organic, but we also realize inorganic growth strategy by acquisition and joint ventures are an important part of PCMA's future. We certainly think that consolidation post-COVID in the post-COVID world is needed in our industry. Consolidation inevitable as far as I'm concerned. And so PCMA will continue to pursue that strategy, not with the aim to be bigger, but with the aim to combine forces so that we can deliver better value for the business events industry, for our members, and for the audiences that we serve.
Well, these are certainly very exciting times for PCMA. Sherrif, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you and the rest of the team in San Diego. To learn more about Convening Leaders, head over to conveningleaders.org. Now, a quick word from our sponsor.
Coaching at in-person events is becoming increasingly popular. Our next guest, Vimari Roman, founder and CEO of Be Productive Coaching, is well-versed in the demand for coaching at events. Vimari, thank you so much for joining us. Would you give us an overview of your background?
I have a background in hospitality and the meetings industry. I spent 22 years in hotels before entering the entrepreneurial world when I started Be Productive Meetings and Events, which was my first company. And then shortly after that, I got certified as a leadership coach and I started my coaching practice. In 2020, when the pandemic hit, I was devastated with all of the furloughs and layoffs that took place in the industry. And that's when I reached out to MPI to see if I could come and coach at WEC. And I did. I went to Dallas and coached at WEC. And then since then, I've coached at WEC on an annual basis. I also started to speak about personal branding. Much of my practice focuses on helping professionals transition to the next step of their careers. And we do that through leadership, executive coaching, personal branding, which includes their resumes, LinkedIn profiles, interview preparation, all of that. And then I also started bringing and introducing mental fitness to the industry after the pandemic, when I realized that well-being was extremely needed after the pandemic, especially in our industry, being that everyone's always going from one event to the other. And that's when I raised my hand to speak on positive intelligence and mental fitness, and basically teaching individuals a little bit about how their inner critic shows up and how they self-sabotage, hoping that they would join our boot camp, which many have joined the boot camp. It's a program, it's a 7-week program, which teaches how mental fitness enables teams to achieve optimal performance and well-being, and helping them increase their mental muscles that are needed in order to ignite that lasting change and positive change across the organization. So in essence, that's how I've been helping, is through coaching at live events, speaking on mental fitness and positive intelligence and some personal branding as well. And really trying to, the way I say it, is bring humanity back to the industry.
You offered coaching at IMEX America for the first time and found a high demand for this on-site service. Tell us what your takeaways were from this experience.
IMEX, I spoke. I had a session on removing your inner critic. And that's a hot topic because we all have our inner critic. We all self-sabotage. And when I speak about mental fitness and how to remove that, I think everyone's interested in it. It's just at every level. And then when it came to the coaching, we were trying coaching for the first time at IMEX, and we were completely surprised about, how it was welcomed. But I was pretty much booked before I got to IMEX. We had a sign-up sheet, as we typically do at conferences. And I had to open it up because people kept emailing me about trying to get into my schedule. So the only way to open it up was to put together a wait list. And before getting to IMEX, I had 15 confirmed appointments, 30 on a wait list. And then we had a complete surprise where I saw an additional about 40, and most of these individuals were planners, I would say. We saw about 45 additional come by to try to get coaching. I felt horrible, but that I could not just multiply myself. So I did offer them to schedule a free coaching session with me after IMEX, and many of them have already. I've spoken to many of them. But the demand was just amazing to see, and that this is needed. People are looking for coaching, and especially when it comes to someone that can relate to their background and what they're experiencing. I think our industry is a bit niche and special in many ways, and that's really what attracts them.
As we look ahead to 2024, what can we expect from Be Productive Coaching?
2024, I am hoping to really come in and work more with the teams. I would love to come in, and I'm speaking to a couple of the convention bureaus and also some hoteliers, so that we can really increase mental fitness within the teams. And I have no doubt I've worked with teams outside of the industry, and I've seen the increase in their performance, their well-being, and their collaborations as a team. And so that's really going to be my focus. I'm going to continue speaking about mental fitness and positive intelligence because that's extremely important. And working with the one-on-one coaching, one of the things that came out of IMEX that I am going to be speaking to, hopefully IMEX later on, about maybe starting with some group coaching sessions. I mentioned that there were about 45 people that just came by to try to get coaching. So there were 2 mornings where I had the opportunity to open it up to a group coaching session. And it was just instinctively what came up for me, and they stayed. The first day I had about 6 people that stayed. And then the second day I had 12 people, and they went through a group coaching session. So I think for the future for 24, I see that as being something that will be really welcomed by individuals. So group coaching at conferences and one-on-one coaching at conferences, as well as the boot camp for the groups, for the teams, so that they can level up.
Vimari, thank you so much. Let's check back in with Sarah.
Thanks, Courtney. By now you've heard about Harrah's Reimagined, but here's another look at the beautiful new Harrah's as we know it.
You look at the Harrah's brand historically, it's one of our most popular brands in the company. We've got over 50 casinos and hotels nationwide, and Harrah's historically has been a very gaming-centric property, and this property in Las Vegas was no different. But over time, as the business has evolved to be more non-gaming and convention-friendly, and especially with us building the brand new Caesars Forum convention right behind the building, we had to completely transform this property and transform our business and rethink the way we are servicing the customers here. You'll see right now we're completely redoing the front drive, so that's going to be the biggest thing. That's the biggest feedback we heard from people, is that front entrance experience for a convention customer really has to have a wow factor. So that's the last piece we're doing now. We're renovating that. The front lobby has been completely redesigned. All 2,500 hotel rooms have been renovated. All the public spaces, the restrooms, floors, ceilings, columns, carpet, you name it, the entire floor to ceiling has been completely redone. But with that, then you have to add in new amenities. So we've added new lounges, new bars, new restaurants. Added this place here, Ramsey's Kitchen. We've brought in Bobby Flay. We brought in Buddy Velastro. So a lot of celebrity chef concepts that we know our convention customers like, having good food, good place to gather for drinks. So that's really what we've done. We tried to change the entire amenities that we're offering here to our convention customers. A convention customer can come in, they can completely take over the property. They could rent bars, restaurants, lounges. They could do their marketing and advertising along the corridors, in the front drive, the hotel rooms. So it's something that it's very unique to this market, being able to do that for our customers. But also just the proximity that we have, just the connectedness to the space. It's a very quick walk. It's very easy and accessible for the convention customers. It's something that they've told us that they really enjoy. Having everyone just very close and contained in the center strip location allows them just to really hang out here, but also go to some of our neighboring Caesars properties where we also have other amenities that you can completely take over.
Thanks for joining us on No Hidden Agenda TV. Stay tuned for our next episode on December 14th to hear from an AI expert and more event professionals.